this resident keeps having trouble with, he has a white 6-foot fence that backs up to Indian Valley Road, and it's constantly being vandalized. So he's upset that code's not here 24/7. He wants to know if she pay for his fence, but it just, you know, we have to at least decide what we're going to do and answer him. So. But he said 13, 14, and then this year, so.
The first time they did it was Halloween.
Yeah, this year.
He replaced the fence.
Mm-hmm. Second time they cut out the.
Is this the one that's got the cutout on the curb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
6-foot vinyl fence.
You mean the illegal cutout?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, it's not here.
Right.
But that, no, it's not here, so.
I don't know how he can hold the village responsible.
Well, he said that code is not.
Code has never been here.
Well, he said it happens on Halloween, and then he says that. Yeah. And then he was afraid to go away on Halloween, he's afraid to go away on Christmas. So he's holding us liable for that.
But we don't really do it.
No, my feeling is if he was in the town of Brookhaven, Brookhaven would not do anything, or he wants the town to pay for the fence.
He has to call police.
Yep.
So that would be.
Well, why doesn't he put in security cameras if this is a recurring thing? What?
That's what I thought, but.
I can't see that there's any legal grounds for him to hold the village responsible.
I mean, you could request a drive-by, you know, from security on their roof, but I mean, that's
Well,
not.
They're doing that, yeah. And he did speak to Frank.
But we're not responsible.
So, you know, I don't think, you know, he asked if we would pay for the fence, but I say no, we're not going to pay for the fence, and we'll let him know that. You know, we're sorry that it happened, and no.
Well, with a cap on it, so we can't increase security hours. I mean, how the hell can we possibly have, you know, coding it 24/7?
All right, we'll send you.
I'm gonna put in security cameras.
You have the email that I sent you with the pictures and everything. You want me to forward it to you again?
Yeah, could you?
And then you or Frank can send him a letter just saying.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. And then, do you have a report there for 24 Walnut? We had a complaint from, I'm not sure who it was actually.
He was supposed to leave all this stuff, and
That's
well, they
okay.
have this. Oh, this is too soon.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, we had a complaint for 24 Walnut, and the house is empty. It's a white cottage, right?
Yeah.
So
Next to the walk.
next to the walkway going up the stairs.
Up the
that
stairs,
one?
yeah.
Okay. So I don't think anybody's in it.
No, they're not. That's we had discussed at last meeting.
Okay. So we'll have code, or the building department have Cindy issue them a letter. Okay.
Are they paying their taxes? Or?
Yeah. Okay.
What was the issue?
Yeah.
I mean, it's empty, but I
Yeah.
didn't see it being overgrown.
It's overgrown. The weeds are 4 feet high.
They always was.
Yeah, but that's the complaint.
Okay.
The complaint from the person that's doing it. It claims that, you know, look what I've done to my property, and look what I have to look at. I mean, the house hasn't probably been painted in 30 years or more.
There were broken windows too.
I think there was.
No.
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 I don't really think
This is where I just think, you know, we have had and have even now cases where there are some real issues with properties. But this is a case where it's a modest structure. It always was. It was always more or less this way. They were very part-time, and it really speaks to not that this is a different situation, a zombie house. It really speaks to that whole issue of maintenance of property, which has been a contentious issue in the village. And, you know, we kind of kicked the can down the road and just kind of never went there. But this is an example of why we probably should. We should have a discussion about that. There are some cases where neglectful owners really need to be reminded that, you know, you can't be that way in the village. But in a case where this is an elderly person, I don't even know what her situation is now, but that house has been in the family for a long time, it's always been that way. And all of a sudden, we're making an issue out of it because somebody across the street who, yeah, he has done a lot on his house, but that was always across the street. And now he's decided that he's going to complain about it, and we're jumping through hoops to respond to it when it doesn't sound to me like there's an issue, there's a new issue.
Well, that's why we have it here. We can say we're not going to do anything about it and write back to the complainant that we found nothing wrong with it.
Well, I do think that he has a point and that he's looking at that, and I think what we really should be talking about is not that house, but the whole idea of putting back on the table the maintenance of property law. And people are going to have their say, and it's, you know, they can live slovenly if they want to and all that kind of stuff. But I think we have to get a consensus of what works for our village, which is not a gated community where everybody is told what color to paint their house and stuff. But we probably have to find that middle ground where we can say, listen, this place is a mess, and you need to clean it up, or we're going to cite you, and we have some law that would back us up. But in a case like this, there's nothing new, there's no law, there's no change in the property, it is what it is.
So do we just say we're not going to, we can have code get back to the complainant saying that,
Well,
you know,
we could
we've
reach
got-
out to the owner, we've done that, right?
Yep.
We send people letters, so I think maybe we should do that. I think also we should include in the letter back, is to say that we are, you know, sensitive to his concerns, and that we're going to start a discussion about a maintenance of property law that people can live with.
New York State has a property maintenance code. It's in the building code, building and the fire prevention code, and also residential code. And kinds of things you're talking about, painting houses and maintaining lawns, are now in that code, and there's significant. You know, there's a significant fine attached. It's like a $1,000, something like a $1,000 fine for each of the violations. So it's really, and the other thing is we're required actually to enforce that code. We don't have the option. New York State actually requires us to enforce that. So those are things I can look at the code and then see, based on the kinds of things I'm hearing today about the property, and let you know what I think.
We could put that on for the working meeting for next month.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, like if your paint is peeling a little bit, I mean, it's not, you know, that's one thing. But if you just decide you're not going to paint your house for 30 years, I mean, that's.
I don't even think that's an issue in that house. I think it has asbestos siding, with the cement shingles, whatever.
Okay, well, I'll look at it.
No, there's nothing new.
Okay.
But there is, if it's not in our code, it is in the New York State code. Is my point really? There is a code about it. It's not.
Okay, then number 7, we have a complaint about legal department at 2 Singing Wood Lane. Now, this has been going on for years and years and years, but in the last month, I would say the neighbor across the street has called multiple times because she's now thinking that they're renting out the garage to like 3 or 4 people, and she's upset about that. And there's a lot of cars in and out. So I think that we should, at the next session, the next meeting, have code go out there, and you know, we'll send her a letter like we do, and have Mike go out and check it and see.
Well, on the Indian Valley side, she's got 3, 4, 5 different rooms in the basement, and she's renting them out to college kids.
But how do you cite one and not, you know?
The same
Because
house?
this is someone that's someone who's
2 single
we have a
ones.
complaint about.
And on the other side,
Yeah.
she's got 4 people living in the garage, plus people in the addition upstairs.
Well,
I mean,
there has been an investigation, and the only thing I was going to say, because I don't want to, I can't say too much. Because, you know, because she has a computer, she can see what I said. But there has been an ongoing investigation. We have information that would support a prosecution, and there's other information that which you just mentioned that was brought to my attention within the last 2 weeks, and we're acting on it.
Okay, so because we do have a resolution to have Village Hall send out a letter and notify them. Should we do all that?
Yes.
Okay.
Should just have.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. But this, you know, it's sort of an evolving situation. We started out with a complaint about rental of rooms and that, and we got some information. We did an investigation, we got some information on that, but then as we were starting that, it evolved into this other situation that you're talking about now. So
Yeah,
you can vote.
if there's a fire, I mean, how are these people gonna get out of there?
it's a significant issue.
I noticed on the complaint I gave to Sandy that it said anonymous. What's our current policy on that? Because I could have sworn that we mentioned that we were not going to act on anonymous complaints.
Well,
What
I
exactly
think
is the
Frank
village policy?
knows who they are. He just kind of says they don't want their name in public record or recorded, and they, you don't want people to know you don't want the erosion on.
I
trust
think
on
that
this, you know.
if you sit down there and start putting names on there, then you're looking at conflict between neighbors.
Right,
which
you don't want
might-
to do that.
So now we are accepting anonymous complaints. Because I know we said previously we were not. Just want to clarify.
But I do remember that, and I think you make a good point, that we have to define what we mean by anonymous.
Right.
Because if we get a telephone call, I don't know,
Right.
hang up, then we're not gonna act on it.
I
In this
think the
case, this
person
is
of-
not anonymous, but they requested that their name not be used.
Right.
So, we should maybe make that official in some way, that we will act on this and we will respect people's right to remain anonymous if they prefer or they fear retribution in some way, but this is not technically anonymous, we know it is.
Yeah, I know, but still, technically it is.
Yeah, I
Should
agree with you.
clarify.
Yeah, I don't think any of these are anonymous. I think Frank and Village Hall knows each person. They just chose not to have anyone there for that reason. Because it is their neighbor.
Well, I guess we have some discretion here. I don't know if we want to actually make a motion on it. I think we need some consistency. So if we know who the person is and they request that, we'll respect it.
I agree.
But if somebody just makes an anonymous phone call or puts a little
Well,
handwritten
yeah,
note
right,
on a piece of toilet paper in our mailbox.
Well, we don't take those, we don't, right now, right, Sandy? We don't take them seriously if that happens, no. So I think that's already happening. Okay. Okay, last thing we have is discussion of use of Village Hall. So we have policy. You know what, Joe, I don't know if I sent this to you. Do you want to make copies of this? So everyone has one? Yeah. I just realized I had printed it this morning.
I can make copies one person.
Yeah.
Was that all in the mailbox?
No, there are other things. I actually just wondered.
No, I didn't.
Coffee break anyway. And oh, the original I know was going to be around.
Yeah.
What's his name? Oh, yeah. Yeah, last night I was walking home down to where there were cars racing up and down the street. And, yeah, he came down. Yeah. By the time it's just kids.
When I picked Cindy up, there's all kinds of cars down by,
Yeah, I walked into the
I
gate
guess 63 or 67,
somewhere.
something like that.
Might be on the board.
That's what I thought. A lot of cars.
Yeah, put the board on the break. So.